Hi, I'm Serotonin, and this is my Razorscale 25-man walkthrough. For this boss, you'll need 2 tanks, and preferably 6 to 7 healers. This fight consists of 2 phases. The first phase is when Razorscale is in the air, the second when she's grounded. There are a couple objectives for phase 1. Number 1, you have to wait for the 4 turrets to be repaired. You then have to shoot the turrets at Razorscale to get her down on the ground. Another one is you need to keep the adds away from the turrets and make certain you get the adds down before you start fighting Razorscale. As far as Razorscale's abilities in Phase 1, she does Fireball, which hits someone for 11 to 12k fire damage to a random person, and also shoots down Devouring Flame. It hits for 6 to 7 fire damage, and it also leaves flame down on the ground. It stays there for about 25 seconds, so make certain people are paying attention and get out of that, because it does tick for 6 to 7 per second. And her last ability is Wing Buffet. She uses this when she breaks the chains and flies back up or is permanently grounded. It knocks everybody back 35 yards. Alright, now on to the adds. The first one is the Dark Rune Guardian that you want for the achievement. It does Storm Strike, which does 12k nature damage and also applies a debuff that can be dispelled off. It increases nature damage taken by 20%. The next ad is the Dark Sentinel. This is the gigantic guy. It whirlwinds for 30 to 40k on cloth. This is the one that you need to take out of the group and individually tank and have the range take it down. Otherwise, melee, you take too much damage. Just let the range do that and continue to AoE down the rest of them. And finally, we have the Dark Rune Watcher. It does Lightning Bolt, which single targets someone for 8 to 12k nature damage, and does Chain Lightning, which hits up to 5 people. It does 11k nature damage. You can interrupt this, and also remember, to each person that it hits, it increases damage, so make certain to spread out. Alright, right now we are in Phase 1. This is pretty much just the waiting phase. If you'll notice, Deadly Boss Mods has put up when each turret is going to be ready. I believe it's about 2 minutes that you have to kill the adds. If you'll notice, everyone is kind of spreading out in the area. You want to make certain to do that, number 1, to avoid the Devouring Flames that she shoots down, and also to make certain that if a Chain Lightning gets through, not too many people get it. If you also notice that there is a sentinel up and the ranged is taking it down. Oh, you see it whirlwind? Yeah, that's pretty nasty right there. But otherwise, you don't need to spread out into groups. I mean, it's really not that hard. Just make certain to AoE down the rest of the adds, and otherwise you're fine. This is just a waiting game. You just wait until the turrets are up. Assign 1 person to go back as each turret is ready, and have them shoot it at Razorscale. What the turrets do is they put a chain on her, and when she gets all 4 chains, she's grounded, which at that point, she'll be on the ground and you can actually DPS her down. Now, Phase 2 occurs once you finally get her down to 50%. It's really not too hard. She doesn't have too terrible much health, but you do need to make certain to get her down as quickly as possible, otherwise you'll run into the rage timer. You'll also encounter more adds and everything. However, if you're going for the achievement, you can make certain to DPS her slower, so that way you can get more of the Guardians. I think it's like 50 for the achievement, but otherwise this phase is extremely boring and annoying, especially once you get the gear, because the adds go down extremely quickly. Just watch out for the sentinels, have the 1 tank assigned to them, and just drag the sentinel out and call for the range to DPS it down. Otherwise, this is Phase 1. Good luck on Phase 2! Alright, you've gotten past Phase 1 and on to Phase 2. Alright, for this phase, the tank that gets her first, preferably move her in a counterclockwise or clockwise rotation, because she does drop Devouring Flame, and it usually gets on the tank, so you do need to get out of that. So that's the reason why you want to go in a circular rotation. Alright, as for abilities this phase, she does Flame Breath, which does 13 to 16k fire damage in a frontal cone to the person with the top aggro, aka the tank. She also will do Flame Buffet, or Flame Buffet, if you'll remember Alar. But this will increase fire damage taken by 1000. This does stack, so it hurts more and more and more as the fight goes on. So get her down quick and you won't have to worry. And her last ability is Fuse Armor. This stacks up to 5 times, which means 100%, and it reduces armor, attack, and movement speed by 20%. This is the reason why you have 2 tanks. Because if a single tank gets the 5%, they can't move, they can't taunt, they can't do anything. All that they can do is stand there. So that's no fun. So make certain to switch out the tanks. And she also has an enraged timer of, I believe, 10 minutes. So just get her down 10 minutes. Good game. Alright, for phase 2, there's not too much more that you need to pay attention to. Number 1 is you'll no longer get any ads. Yay! But also, tanks really need to pay attention to their Fuse Armor debuff. Once you get 2 or a 40% speed, armor, movement, everything reduction by 40%, make certain you have the other tank taunt, so that way you can get rid of that debuff. Otherwise, you'll be, like, not moving at all, which is bad. Healers don't like that. DPS doesn't like that. It's bad in general. So anyways, you also need to pay attention to the Flame Buffet, which increases fire damage taken by 1,000%, not percent, but 1,000 damage. And that'll keep stacking to 2,000, 3,000. Bad news bears in general. So just get her down as soon as you can. I think her enrage timer is like 10 minutes, I believe. It's more than enough time to get her down. Usually, you'll get 1 grounded, and then the second time you'll permanently ground her. It's really not too hard at all. Just the tank needs to keep moving her in a circular direction. Ranged healers, anyone that's out there, make certain that you try to stay back behind her head to make certain that you don't even closely get hit by her frontal cone, which it really does hurt because I've gotten hit by it before. Just pay attention to where she's at and you'll be perfectly fine. It's a pretty easy fight. So good luck in this, and I will see you in the rest of Alduar.